So today's little, like, hopefully over 8-minute video is about cosplay tips, because I've been cosplaying since like late 2021, maybe. I think that. And I feel like after spending all my years on this specific hobby, I feel like I have a little bit of room to talk about, being a cosplayer, I guess. And I guess pleasure of summer starting soon, I will be making also this is just requested, I'm going to be making a video of a bunch of cosplay tips from someone who's been cosplaying since late 2019. Let's get into it. Section 1, wigs. Starting off strong, tip number 1 is always style your wig. I don't think most people realize this, but you can tell when somebody didn't like style their wig, like they didn't put an effort to like curl the hair or cut the bangs. So I'm telling you, as someone who's been cosplaying for so long, style your wigs. It makes them look infinitely better, even if you have no experience on it, which actually leads into my next point. Watch a lot of tutorials, because I feel like for wigs especially, along with makeup, there are so many different styles that you have to try out at least once. You can make it like super accurate to character or more realistic in real life. Like, this is not what Guru's hair actually looks like, but I think it looks good. And don't feel pressure to make your wig perfect, because perfect isn't real. Oh, now that we've gone over the basics, I guess I'm not gonna be going into how I style my wigs because it's a whole disaster. But always have a reference quote out for your character, because a lot of characters, you may think you know a character, like an attribute about them, and then you realize you don't, and you get it wrong, and you have to redo the whole wig. I've done it before, especially with more intricate hairstyles. It's always good to have a reference pulled up. Speaking which, make sure to invest in some staple things. Now, sorry, I have my script pulled up right here. Hair cutting scissors, specifically for hair cutting. I know your grandma's like fabric scissors might look like they work, but they don't, as well as like actual hair cutting scissors that are meant for cutting hair. A little redundant, I know. Styrofoam head. This is because styling on your own head is extremely hard and uncomfortable. I would know, especially when you try to do the back of your head. It's gonna be horrible and painful. Don't do what I did. Just get a styrofoam head the first time you get a wig, and it'll make it so much easier. It took me like 2 years to actually get one, which isn't good, because it made a lot of my older wigs look kind of bad now that I look back. Also hairspray and glue, because a lot of these styles are not going to be able to be achieved with just like normal styling. You're gonna have to put a lot of effort into a wig. By the way, if you haven't picked up on that already, you will have to, like, these little side tails right here, I think they're called tomboyish side tails or something. It took me like a good 15 minutes to get them curled inward like I wanted them to. So yeah, invest in checklist, hair cutting, scissors, styrofoam head, glue, hairspray, also hairpins. Okay, this is a one little thing, but like hair clips, get bobby pins. Make sure you can pin your wig into your styrofoam head. That also helps a lot. Adding cute accessories into your hair or your wig also makes an amazing like little add-on to your cosplay. It makes it all that more unique. Invest in staple wigs, which what I mean by that is that there's certain wigs I've noticed like get reused a lot. Like popular colors being white and blonde, specifically blonde pigtails, which could be Marisa Tomei from Kakaguri or Hyoko Saionji from Danganronpa. And editor me will have to check this, but some girl from Fairy Tail. And I also noticed long blue wig works for 2 very popular characters, those 2 being Terahashi from Psyche K, and then, I'm sorry for peeking the mic by the way, and Saika Mizono from Danganronpa, which I have noticed became very popular recently because their outfits are also extremely easy to replicate, which will actually be our next little segment, which would be outfits. So I'm not done with wigs yet. Kind of goes hand in hand, because especially if you're a beginner cosplayer and you're not used to like having a wig, especially a longer one, They tangle very easily. It also depends on like the fibers and stuff. But number one, crimp your wigs or like style them, because that does help keep it from like matting up. And also sometimes it's unavoidable. I know certain wigs of mine, no matter how hard I did try to keep them maintained, they didn't. I know like certain like the cheaper wigs, like my Zhongli wig that's currently sitting in a basket, came to me very matted. So did my Venti wig, and you just have to try your best to hide it. A hat or hairpins, as I said, would help a lot. And also adding on to that, braiding your wigs. Braiding your wigs, especially the really long ones, will help it keep it from like tangling. I do a lot already. But if you want to see what doesn't happen when you do that, you can look at my Miku cosplay, because that wig is so tangled because I didn't take care of it. That should be like a little lesson for you. On to outfits. Okay, this kind of goes hand in hand with the investing in key wigs kind of idea, but invest in some key pieces. Some very popular being, okay, fingerless gloves in general, like flannels, this kind of like sleeveless cropped turtleneck will work well. Turtlenecks in general, like the flatter ones, the one made of cheaper material, are also really good for beginner cosplayers to use if you can't buy the official outfit, which I know, because especially in a lot of the fandoms I in can get really pricey really quick. Okay, for reference, I love this character, but his outfit is like $150 on average. I can't pay for that. I'm not gonna make somebody else do it either. So invest in key pieces, schoolgirl outfits, black skirts. I'll actually link a brand I use called Urban Cocoa on Amazon. This is not sponsored, by the way.
Like they would sponsor you.
That hurts. But it's a good brand. I actually got one of my favorite skirts from there, believe it or not. I know knowledge about all this stuff. I know knowledge. Wow. Crazy. It's something you may already have heard me talk about this. It's closet cosplaying is completely fine. Cosplay is like completely fine. As I said, these outfits can get really pricey really quick, and cosplay is already a pretty expensive hobby. With like wigs, like the cheaper ones can be like $10 to $15, and I know that makeup can also be very expensive. So yeah, fun stuff. This is going to lead into the next 2 points, which is make sure your measurements are accurate. There's nothing worse than waiting for like a month to get a cosplay and then it be too small. It's happened to a friend of mine. And this leads into the next point of, if you are ordering online or ordering from an Asian country, or specifically East Asian country, your size will always be a size larger than when you think it is. I've noticed this trend a lot, is where I'm usually a small in most things. I had to order like mediums and large from those countries, like China and Japan, which, do with that information what you will. I just know I had to point it out a lot too, because I've almost gotten like really small cosplays from either a person in my family or even buying it for myself, and I've ended up almost purchasing a cosplay that would not be wearable. So beware of that, and make sure you double check the sizing measurements, because it will change just from region to region, or you know, because things are different for each brand. One's more of a safety thing, but specifically if you are a minor, wear like shorts, like safety shorts under your skirts, especially if you're cosplaying like Junko or any schoolgirl, because those skirts tend to be very short and kind of, I'm putting air quotes here, skimpy, and it could be really dangerous. Also, you don't want to accidentally flash anyone. That's just embarrassing. Wash your cosplays regularly. I this is so gross to admit. Sometimes I do be like, I just don't want to wash it. Wash your cosplays. You don't want to smell nasty. Trust me, it's not worth it, especially when I move later into cons. Make sure you're comfortable. Do not wear cosplay that specifically makes you uncomfortable just because it's the canon outfit. You don't have to. I feel like that's a lot of things I feel especially younger cosplayers are pressured into, and I know older ones are too. But don't wear cosplay just because it's canon. Make sure you're comfortable. In this also very much applies to minors, with the more revealing outfits kind of pertaining to the more sexualized characters in a series. So really be safe about that and make sure you're comfortable with what you're doing. Also, just keep in check with your age, because you don't want to be cosplaying a character and revealing outfit from a more adult media, because believe me, it can attract the wrong kind of people. And don't be afraid to buy new cosplays if you grow out of one of them. I know it's happening to my Kakagure cosplay, because I got it like 2 years ago and I'm growing out of it because I'm a kid. I'm like 13 as of recording. So yeah, don't be afraid to buy new ones. Improvement is always a part of life. So if you need to buy new cosplay because, you know, oh, this skirt's now too short because my legs grew because I hit puberty, it's fine. It's completely understandable. Nobody's gonna judge you. Moving on to makeup, which is, I feel like, a very large part of cosplay too. Sorry, I had a burp. So, number one, practice your makeup, especially if you're new to makeup and you're only really getting into it because of cosplay. Practice your makeup in and out of cosplay. It will, like, speed up, like, I guess, the improvement of it. I don't know what to call it. Practicing out of cosplay, also make sure you get used to your own face, because that's another thing I want to add on to. Make sure you watch tutorials that contour for your face, or like certain facial features that you might struggle with, because I know for a fact I have a really square jawline and most people who do makeup tutorials do not. Theirs is very V-shaped, which I don't have. I'm also have a lot of baby fat on my face still, so that's another issue. I have hooded eyes, so make sure you look up tutorials for your facial features. So when you try something out on yourself, you know, for the most part, your cosplay doesn't have to be totally like accurate to the character. I mean, there are like certain attributes you might want to play into, like I don't even know, I can't call anything off the top of my head. Editor Kai will put it in, I swear. But you don't have to be like super like human with your makeup. You can make it really like dramatic, which it leans into my next point, is like try out different styles. I have some listed. Gyaru, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Gyaru.
I'll put reference images up on the screen. Gyaru, alt, e-girl, doll, very neutral, glam, or drag. I think coquette is another word to describe it, for the very natural and like pretty aesthetic. Like, not like Annabelle type doll, like I'll put a reference up, I don't know. Use like false eyelashes and white eyeliner to make your eyes appear larger, or what I do, because I don't like using white eyeliner on my waterline, which I wouldn't recommend to do if you're new to makeup, because it could be harder to clean and you can get an eye infection, is what I was going with there. But I leave a little space between my actual like waterline and where I put my eyeliner, and it gives my eye a more droopy effect, which works for me. It might not work for you because I'm a different person, believe it or not. But yeah. Look up references for your makeup if you are trying to stick true to the character. There's nothing worse thinking you did good on a makeup look and then realize the one attribute you were playing on isn't even there. So yeah, have like references up for the character while you're doing the makeup too. It can help a lot. And my least favorite part, make sure you're not Asian fishing, which is an issue I've seen quite a couple of times, where kids are just following makeup and they end up, it could be on accident. Also, no blackfish. Or committing blackface, especially just for cosplays. It's gross and weird. You don't need to be doing that because you're also kids. be different if you're an adult, because then, oh, that's your life. That's what you're doing. You're a grown adult. You can face the consequences of your actions. But the internet is cruel, and sometimes it's deserved. But if I see a kid committing blackface, I'm like, that's not right. We're Asian fishing. You accidentally Asian fish, but you can't accidentally commit blackface. That's where I'm drawing the line. Also, make sure you're not accidentally mocking indigenous cultures. If you know where I'm about to go with this, I'm sorry. But this, especially, and I've seen a lot of, especially Danganronpa cosplayers doing this, where they put the two lines on their nose. I was actually advised by a friend to not do that anymore, because it's been used in the past to mock indigenous people, and it looks very similar to their facial paintings that they do in their culture. So yeah, don't do that, because you may not have any harmful intent with it, but it very much does not come off that way. It feels like a mockery of their culture, which, you know, isn't good. We're trying not to start issues. My voice is dying. Oh Lord. Next, I'm gonna tip into slightly. I don't have a lot of information on this topic, but I will take it from another creator, Anya Panda. I'll link their channel, because that's where I get a lot of my info from. Not like info, because I'm experienced. They really inspire me. Like, this whole setup right now is inspired by them. So just some con safety I want to go over. Make sure you always have a buddy with you, whether it be a trusted friend or adult. Just make sure you're never going alone, because that can be, you know, no matter really where you are, going to any populated place by yourself is not the best idea, because you could get hurt. Crazy, I know. Have like an extra bag with you if you're buying stuff, or if you may have a health condition, because, you know, stuff happens. You may think, oh, I'm gonna be fine. You will not be fine. Just bring an extra bag. Just do it. Last point on con safety is wear deodorant and wash, because too many stories have been circulating about people smelling ripe at cons because they didn't put on the deodorant. I know for like certain J singers too. They're like, guys, can you please put on deodorant? Put on deodorant. It's not that hard. Respectfully. Moving on to the next point. Over some safety stuff. So I'm gonna go over corset safety real quick, because there is a wrong way to wear them. Number one, never have your corset on bare skin. I know that may seem like a crazy thought, but don't do that. So even the people who did have to wear, I'm gonna push that stigma again. But even the people who didn't wear it on their bare skin. They wore like a shift under it, or like a pair of combinations, which is their version of underwear, but they did not have it on their bare skin, because it was to protect it from the oils and stuff. But also, if you've ever had your corset, had a corset on bare skin, you know it does not feel good. So wear, even if you're wearing a crop top, wear like a tank top under your shirt, so that corset is not rubbing up against your bare skin. Especially if you're tight lacing. Tight lacing, you know, I understand why you do it. Get that cinched effect in your waist, but please, for the love of God, do not do it for long periods of time, because it can have, you know, bad stuff. It can hurt. And if you do too much of it's like binding your chest, if you overdo it for long periods of time, it's going to cause issues later in life with internal scarring and such. And, you know, and this is just one giant glob of a couple of bullet points I made. If you buy a corset, a cheaply made one off of Amazon or AliExpress or Shein, Zara, I don't know if they sell that, or even Adidas. I know they have a fitness one. Know that if you have any, like, number one, it's not gonna be personally fitted to you, which the original corsets from back when you, like in the Victorian area, those were made to fit the body of the wearer, and they would even slightly contort to the body. I will link Bernadette Banner in the comments, not the comments, in the description, because all her videos are really educational and really helpful. And if you want to learn more about fashion history, why I'm saying all of this, I feel like she would be a good place to start. And all of her, like, little group on the internet is also very educational. But yeah, they are not going to be made for your body or how you're made. So especially if you have scoliosis or something, those corsets will not be, like, comfortable on you, more so than they already are uncomfortable. I have one of those massively produced ones and that I usually wear a lot, and it feels really uncomfortable. So if you have scoliosis, that's another thing to beware, especially if it's in the midsection more so than higher up. Yeah, well, that concludes corsets. One of two final segments is social media. So if number one, your fame will not be instant. It'll actually probably take a while, since cosplay is such a niche already. You'll have to, like, really try and build your audience, and trying to build an audience that will stick with you, that won't, like, stick with you because you did one trend, which I know this has happened to a lot of bigger creators that aren't cosplay, but, you know, I still feel like it's worth noting on. I noticed, and somebody commented this, is that using, like, a shorter title and, like, 3 hashtags really helps boost your content. Don't play into the whole, ooh, shadow banning, grr. You just don't. Because it's not really there. There's not some big conspiracy. You just don't have a lot of reach because the algorithm doesn't feel the need to push you. So yeah, short title, 3 hashtags. Find a niche for your channel. Like, if you do TikToks and you just do little skits, that's fine. Makeup tutorials, cosplay tutorials on props or certain outfits, wig tutorials, skits of your own. Just something I'm working on. Yeah, that also works. That also is just general rules for a YouTube channel anyways, or channels in general, any, like, social media account you're trying to bring up into popularity. My least favorite part about this is hate, because a lot of it is really mean. I've seen some quite horrible stuff being commented before. I'll flash some screenshots, maybe, if I feel like smart enough. But most of those are sad 13-year-old boys who have nothing better to do with their time. Which I think everyone can assume just by their comments. The nature of them already is just like, eh. You can tell someone's just begging for attention. But only use a few socials. Don't, like, have 15 accounts trying to run together. It's not gonna be good. You'll end up, like, falling behind on all of them. And make your username catchy and easy to remember. It's gonna be hard to remember, like, who you are online if you have, like, a super long username that's, like, just a bunch of jumbled words. And minors, for the love of God, do not post thirst traps. I don't know why I have to keep saying this. I've noticed it before, and it makes me really uncomfortable because there's a lot of creeps online. You can feel my ego lifting with this gosh darn setup. But I noticed it happen a lot. Maybe even some of my mutuals just don't post thirst traps because you are a kid and there's a lot of creeps online and you don't want to be attracting that kind of attention. Be safe. Just in general, online, the internet is a very scary place, and I'd hate some kid just trying to enjoy themselves get creeped on or groomed, or worse. I've seen it happen. don't be shy to network with other creators, because I know that that's a great way to boost each other. Constantly shouting out people works. Only do that until you're like 1,000 subscribers though, because after that people are gonna start using you for fame, for the whole shout out thing. But don't be shy to like talk to other creators, try to do collabs with them and all that good stuff, because also just don't be creepy. And avoid ending this on the socials bit. Avoid drama at all costs, because it never ends well for anybody. I've gotten into quite a bit of controversy myself. Nothing big, but it's best for you to avoid that kind of crowd, because you may notice maybe it gives you more views, but I will tell you that it is not worth what it will put you through afterwards. And right now I'm just finishing off a few miscellaneous points I have. Number 1, make sure you drink like water and eat food while you're in cosplay. I don't care if you're scared to mess up your makeup, you can always touch that up, but you in fact can not touch it up after you've starved for 8 hours straight. That was such a bad thing to say, my lord. But like, make sure you stay hydrated, because you will like sweat a lot in cosplay, and you move a lot, as I suspect, in cosplay. It takes a lot of energy. It's a very draining hobby. Take breaks between shoots, whether that be filming or taking photos if you're at a photo shoot. Take breaks in between. You don't always need to be in action. Back to my look, sorry. But it's just not good, especially along with my other point about not eating and drinking. It can become a really big problem, because it can make you sick, especially if you do that for long periods of time or do it after multiple cosplays. It will not end well for you. Wigs will be heavy, and it's normal for you to get headaches in them. I know I do, especially for like my Miku, not my Miku wig actually, like my Junko wig, and some wig caps give me headaches because of how tight they are on my head. It's normal. Just, maybe take some ibuprofen and drink, as I said, water. I know you may forget that. Don't force yourself to cosplay. It'll make you lose love for the craft, because it is a hobby that should be taken a little more seriously than I'd like to admit. This is something I picked up from another creator that doesn't know me personally. Once again, this is not a collab. But, this is just a little tidbit I like to add. That should have been with the con stuff. But, smoothies are ideal food for when you're at a con and you're in cosplay. This is, once again, Anya Panda. So, yeah, she has a whole video on it. Very little was bound to go wrong. So, yeah. That's about it for my point. That was a fun little video I just filmed. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed. If you did like actually stay through the entire video, if you are not a normal viewer, make sure to subscribe and like the video. I'm trying to get to 1K. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm really tired. It's 9:53, and I have been up since 5 a.m. So your boy isn't doing so hot. So let's get into the video. Isn't that a fun little thing that I just did? So sorry, the background noise just cut out. Well, that's fun. My lord, has all my audio been like that? Okay.